You've closed your eyes 1,000 times, felt the rush, lived inside the scene, tasted the victory, then opened them again, and the room still looks identical. Sometimes a spark flickers, a synchronicity, a tiny proof that something moved. Then it vanishes, and the old pattern swallows you again. If that loop has ever frustrated you, here's the part nobody says out loud. Imagination by itself is useless. What actually collapses possibility into matter is the vibration you refuse to drop. There is a galactic difference between mentally visiting a desired reality and transmitting the unshakable signature of the person who already inhabits it. The quantum field does not read your affirmations, does not admire your vision board, does not count how many times you repeated the perfect script. It only detects the coherent signal your nervous system, your breath, your micro-choices, and your unguarded emotions keep sending out 24 hours a day. The universe is deaf to your words. It is fluent in who you are when nobody is watching. That is the master key. Once you grasp how razor-thin the adjustment actually is, everything flips. Not because you forced harder or thought happier thoughts, but because you quietly stopped begging, stopped searching, stopped treating your desired life like a distant destination, and started walking around inside the frequency as if it were home. This frequency is not a concept, not a theory, not a fluffy idea. It is a living texture, a calm, unshakable knowing, a rhythm that never rushes, never doubts, never checks the clock. It feels like breathing after holding your breath for years. When you operate from the identity of the version who already received everything, the field has no option but to reorganize reality around that signal, because that is the only law it obeys. Why does this feel almost impossible at first? Because every experience you've ever had trained your body to broadcast, still waiting, still lacking, still proving. You were taught to postpone joy until conditions approve. Now you're being asked to drop every single one of those programs and simply occupy the state that once felt like fantasy. It feels fraudulent only because your physiology is lagging behind your soul. Your soul has never been separate from that reality. Your body is just now being rewired to remember. You do not attract your future. You realign with the version of you who never left it. When the outside still looks the same, you don't wait for it to change first. You change the transmission first and let the outside scramble to catch up. You stop scanning for what's missing and start noticing what already matches. Day after day, you choose that signal until it becomes the new autopilot. Until pressure no longer collapses it. Until old fear sounds like a foreign language. Then the field leans in your direction. Not because you persuaded it, but because you finally became undeniable. The quantum field does not negotiate with desire. It mirrors identity. It does not care what you wrote in your journal this morning. It cares how you walk into a room this afternoon, how you react when money leaves your account, how you speak about yourself when you think no one can hear. If you picture wealth but flinch at every expense, the field registers lack. If you dream of love but deflect every compliment, the field records resistance. If you long for freedom but keep describing yourself as stuck, the field trusts your current broadcast, not your bedtime stories. That is why so many brilliant manifestors stay frustrated despite doing every technique perfectly. The mind is transmitting one station, while the body is locked on survival static. The moment, thought, emotion, posture, tone, and action all sing the exact same note. Coherence is achieved, and reality has zero choice but to reflect it instantly. Desire alone is noise. Desire fused with identity is a pure laser the field cannot ignore. You reach certainty, not by waiting for proof, but by generating the proof inside your own skin. First, you begin moving, dressing, deciding, breathing, spending, loving, resting exactly like the version who already wakes up inside the fulfilled state. Not as performance, not as fake-it-you-make-it, but as remembrance of who you never stopped being underneath the fear. Neville called it living in the end. Dispenza calls it becoming the new personality. Braden calls it heart-brain coherence. The name doesn't matter. The instruction is identical. Stop becoming and start being. You repeat the new frequency until your nervous system forgets how to return to scarcity. Yes, it feels exposed, almost arrogant. Definitely uncomfortable at first, because the old identity will scream that you're lying. Let it scream. Thank it for trying to keep you safe. Then keep transmitting the new signal anyway. You are no longer the one waiting for reality to shift. You are the shift. This is not pretending to be confident. This is teaching your body that it is now safe to feel complete. When the subconscious finally relaxes into enough, your energy field expands, and the quantum field rushes to fill the new space. Acting as if is the most misunderstood phrase in the entire game. People think it means putting on an act, wearing a mask, fooling the universe. Wrong. Acting as if is advanced frequency calibration. It is deliberately moving your body through space in exact alignment with the desired state. Before the 3D world gives permission, you are not waiting to become the proof. You are becoming the proof so the field can mirror it. The bank account may still show the old story. Relationships may still reflect old patterns. Yet, you are asked to move from the new frequency anyway. Why? Because energy precedes form. Identity precedes evidence. Start microscopic if you must. How would you hold your shoulders tomorrow morning if everything was already complete? How would you answer the phone? How would you scroll social media? How would you accept a compliment without shrinking? Every single choice is a vote for the frequency you claim as home. These are not aesthetic changes. These are energetic declarations. When you stop asking when will it arrive and start asking how would I carry myself today if it already had, your entire behavior turns magnetic. People suddenly treat you differently. Opportunities slide in sideways. Synchronicities stack up without effort. Not because the universe decided to like you more, but because your broadcast finally became too clear to misinterpret. You stopped leaking power into one day and started living inside. It is finished. That is coherence. That is the actual mechanism. And when the resistance finally quiets, when your thoughts grow still and your body feels inexplicably safe, something subtle starts chasing you. The same 3 digits appearing on clocks, receipts, license plates, phone batteries, everywhere. 777. You didn't hunt for it. You didn't beg for a sign. That's precisely why it came. The field never answers desperation. It answers resonance. 777 is not a promise that something is coming. It is confirmation that you have already become the vibrational equal of everything that was ever meant for you. The seed you planted, consciously or unconsciously, has now matched the frequency of full bloom. In sacred traditions, 7 represents divine alignment, inner wisdom, spiritual mastery. Tripled, it becomes the signature of total congruence. Your mind, heart, body, and actions finally speaking the same language. You are no longer asking the universe for a reality, while your energy secretly refuses to receive it. You have stepped into the frequency where receiving is the only possible outcome. That is when the game truly ends, and the living truly begins. You're no longer picturing the outcome with your head, while your chest quietly broadcasts uncertainty. You've stepped into congruence, maybe not perfectly every second, but steadily enough to bend the entire trajectory you're on. In the language of quantum mechanics, 777 surfaces. The moment the probability wave is about to collapse into one solid expression, you're still floating in an ocean of infinite versions, but your consistent emotional signature is dragging one specific timeline into focus, the one you've been training your body and heart to transmit without wavering. The field didn't hear your affirmations. It felt your frequency lock in. And this 777 isn't a prize, isn't a pat on the back, isn't permission to coast. It's an echo, a mirror held up by reality itself, saying, this is the signal you're running now. Most people ruin the moment right here. They treat 777 like a finish line and relax back into the old static. Wrong move. This is the exact instant to double down, to root deeper, to refuse to drop the transmission even for a second, because nothing in the quantum realm happens all of a sudden. What looks explosive in the physical was assembled atom by atom in the unseen. 777 is simply the first visible crack where the new structure breaks through the surface. Your job isn't to celebrate and walk away. Your job is to keep pouring the same steady current so the rest can harden around it. This number is also a quiet invitation. Stop looking for confirmation and start noticing how your body feels right now. Does this calm, this quiet certainty, match the version of you who already lives inside the fulfilled reality? Would that version be anxious about timing? Would they second-guess every move? Or would they move with the relaxed trust of someone watching invisible scaffolding rise exactly on schedule? Because that's what's actually happening. An entire identity architecture is being rebuilt from the inside. How you breathe, how you decide, how you speak when you're alone, how you spend money, how you receive love, all of it is being rewired. The field isn't bringing you a present. It's reflecting the new operating system you finally installed. If something inside you just lit up reading this, if your body recognized the message before your mind could argue, then pause, breathe, and let your system drink it in. Let your cells register that safety is now the default setting. Let your heart exhale into the realization that the alignment isn't on its way. It's already active. The life you used to visualize isn't a future event. It's the station you're currently broadcasting from. And if you want to anchor that station for everyone else tuning in, drop 777 in the comments. Not as superstition, not as magic, but as a deliberate declaration. I'm running this frequency now. I remember. I'm home. Sometimes digits are random. Sometimes they're the universe speaking in its native tongue. A reflection you're finally fluent enough to read. Here's what they never told you. Manifestation isn't about collecting things you lack. It's about stabilizing the version of you who never lacked them in the first place. Abundance, connection, freedom, peace. They aren't rewards waiting outside the door. They're native to the frequency you're finally refusing to leave. You've touched this state before. Brief flashes where time disappeared and everything felt inexplicably right. Where decisions poured out of you instead of being forced. Where joy arrived without a reason. Those weren't flukes. They were previews of your new baseline. The game isn't to chase those moments harder. It's to widen the doorway so you stop leaving them. Quantum creation isn't forcing life to obey you. It's removing every last contradiction between who you say you are and who your energy says you are. When that gap closes, peace shows up. Not hype, not adrenaline, just deep, quiet peace. Because the war inside is over. You're no longer reaching, you're receiving. You're watching your own signal return to you, dressed as people, money, messages, open doors, perfect timing. There is no bigger plot twist than that. And every time, the old voice whispers, "You're not there yet. You get to choose." Collapse back into history, or stay in the new current for one more breath. That single choice, repeated, is where all your power now lives. Not in volume, not in speed, but in refusal to abandon the frequency of it is done. You're not hunting for signs anymore. You've become one. You're not proving you're worthy. You're moving as someone who never questioned it. The universe doesn't need convincing. It only needs a clear station to tune to. When that station stays on air long enough, the entire broadcast of your life upgrades without drama, without force, just inevitable alignment. So breathe, right now, fully. Let every word you just read settle into your bones as memory, not as information. Feel your shoulders drop, your energy soften, your system recognize, I'm not waiting for the shift. I am the shift. And if this message landed exactly when you needed it, if it clicked something into place that's been hovering just outside your grasp, then understand this isn't random content. It's a mirror. It's confirmation that the frequency you've been reaching for isn't theoretical anymore. It's the air you're breathing while reading these lines. If that's true for you, Stay locked in here. Subscribe, not out of obligation, but because this isn't a channel. It's a frequency we're holding together. We're not consuming ideas. We're stabilizing time. We're not learning theory. We're remembering who we actually are. And I'm honored you're walking this with me. Let's keep rising.